So from a marketing standpoint, I want to ask you as a professional because we're going to kind of tie it in together right now for a moment. But you're a realtor. You've been a realtor
Right.
for many years. You've been in different brokerages. You found your footing. You're now
Mhm.
at Forest Hill,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
And top realtor, present a very strong professional image. But let me ask you from a marketing standpoint, because
Right.
I've had professionals that have come to me many times and said like this: on social media, everything you do, I want you to be as generic apple pie as you can be.
Right.
Nothing controversial. Nobody wants to see anything about your religion. Nobody wants to see anything about your orientation. You got to keep it as standard as you can.
Right.
And you made a decision, and I'm guessing very early on, that you're going to embrace who you are. You're open to the public that way and people to
Mhm.
see who you are. Was there a decision at any point, though? Am I going to offend people by what I put out there? Am I going to lose clients this way? Was there any kind of reasoning?
Listen, even on my own personal stuff, which I've made private, but I mean, it still has a relatively larger following than most. And I make the constant decision. I have a really crude sense of humor. And you know what? If you don't like it, then unfollow because, it's like business. When I first started in real estate, I was pretty new when I met you, actually. Um,
Yeah.
you try to appease everybody because you don't have your niche yet. And when I found out who I was, which also translated into real estate, if my content or the way I do business, like I'm never going to be in a full suit showing places. That's just not me. Some people expect that. Well, then I realized just wasn't the realtor for that person. So why waste my time and my energy to coerce these kind of people that have no interest in working with me anyways? And quite frankly, I don't either. Right? But it takes time, I think that's the thing, to understand yourself. And then when you put you in your business, then that's when it starts to actually take off.
I love that. You made me think now of a story, actually. I remember once meeting a new client at my office. Remember back when people actually like met in person? That
Yeah.
was a thing.
Yeah.
Like we're in person right
Yeah.
now. We're not doing this virtually. You're
No.
actually right there. I could touch you if I wanted to. But like seriously, like in a lot
Yeah.
of day and age now, especially as lawyers, other professionals, we're
Especially.
meeting virtually over Zoom.
Right.
But this is a day when we're actually meeting in person. A person comes, meets me for the first time, coming to my office.
Right.
It was Mr. Cohen. It's nice to meet you. I said, nice to meet you as well.
Right.
He goes to me, you're kind of laid back as a lawyer, don't you think? And I said, why is that?
Yeah.
Imagine, Johnny, I'm dressed exactly the way you are right now,
Right.
but I have a sport coat on. Everything else is
Yeah.
exact. He says to me, like jeans as a lawyer? I said, they're fitted. They're stylish. Everything is performed to me.
Right.
He goes, yeah, but I kind of expect a suit. I said, I'm wearing a sport coat.
Right.
And he said, yeah, but a t-shirt as a lawyer? I rolled down my sleeve. I was wearing a watch. I go, is that casual enough for you? He looks at my watch. He goes to me, I'm sorry. You're right.
But you know what? So
It's so sad.
But it's so what you're wearing.
Yeah.
I probably feel my best in athleisure. And if I feel my best, guess what? I perform my best. Right. So why wouldn't you want someone to optimize on the things that externally make them feel good internally? Then therefore you're giving them the best version of yourself. Right. I don't feel comfortable in
Neither do I. I do when I have to, but if you give me a choice,
you have to. But if
yeah.
you're operating your business, like I said, you are your business. So if you're not feeling your best, you're probably not doing your best.
So I subconsciously created for myself what I call my uniform.
Right.
I love wearing jeans. So I
Yep.
got a whole thing of just jeans. I like the MCM belts. I got all
Mhm.
these MCM belts. I like t-shirts, all these t-shirts, occasional sports coats. And they're all the exact same from the same manufacturer, just different colors.
Exactly.
I picked the uniform. And that's where I tell people very often, pick the uniform that you like. If you're like
Right.
exactly like you said, if you feel comfortable in what you're wearing, you're going to show the best you. You're going to be the most authentic self, and
Right.
people will be drawn to you.
Well, also your fashion's an expression of who you are. So you're also, saying your message without saying anything sometimes too, right?
Let's talk about marketing. Like we talked about how we put our outfits together, right?
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
You picked your kicks today, your sneakers, because you knew I'm a kick guy.
Exactly.
Obviously, what I was doing worked because
Yes.
people know all of a sudden the Jordan 1 lawyer.
Exactly.
I've literally been in the mall and people saw me and they're like, hey, you're the Jordan lawyer guy, right?
Yeah.
People know me as the yoga lawyer guy, sometimes the bodybuilding lawyer guy,
Yeah.
the kick lawyer guy. But for myself as marketing, I put out the things I enjoy the most, has nothing to do with law whatsoever.
No.
But it's a point of commonality and it gets people connected with me.
Yes.
And it gets the discussions going.
Well, because it's also a window into who you are, right? Like that's the thing. And I think, before social media was about pictures and now these videos are taking off because people are getting to know the person behind the content, right? Like people these TikTok stars and these Instagram reel stars are, people act like they're their best friend and they're so invested in their life because, they're hearing them talk, they're seeing their reaction to things, whether it's controversial or not. It's authentically who they are. So when you're posting, I mean, you've had a few lives marketing wise. You've gone from Jordans to yoga to bodybuilding, and now you've kind of encompassed that as chosen. But you gave people a window into who you are. What do you like to do outside of law? And that connection, I think, is great. Whenever I meet new clients, I never talk about real estate with them. If I can find, if they're Filipino, that sense of camaraderie, it goes so much further than what you know about the market.
Let's think of what the show we're on today. It's called Jonathan and Jonathan, but it's really chosen life.
Right.
And the whole idea being is, I always say everybody's either living their chosen life,
right,
or wants to live their chosen life.
Right.
It's all about lifestyle at the end of the day. If you think about it, by the time you wake up and how you feel when you wake up, to the whole day, to the time you go to bed, what are your dreams? What makes you happy?
Right.
And are you living the authentic life you want?
Right.
And is this the life that you're going to build for yourself? And start picturing the life you really want,
right,
and working towards that. And when I met you and as I watch your progression, I'm saying to myself, this is a dude that loves his life, builds a life he wants, and is living it.
Right. Well, it's funny. Like, I actually was pretty in a really bad place when we first met, to be honest with you. But real estate was kind of that vessel that was getting me out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it was fine. Like, I didn't finish post-secondary. I didn't have those opportunities, right? So you kind of have to carve out your way, because especially when you're younger, you're always taught that, like, you needed a university degree or a college degree to do something, right?
Right.
And, that was really discouraging. I was in a really dark place. I was in a, really abusive relationship that consumed me, right? So, when you met me, ironically, it was like I was trying to carve out a new career, and I was in the worst place of my life. But then instead of feeling sorry for myself, I had this like driving force just to hold on a little bit longer. And eventually that hope, or maybe manifestation, paid off, right? Because no one's going to help you except yourself. You can have all the handouts in the world. I could say to someone who just gets the real estate license, here's a million leads, but what you do with it is really it. And if you're going to stand in your own way, then you're your own problem.
It's ironic that we met when we met then, and you're saying that, because I did not know this.
I didn't really put it on my forehead.
But and you hide it well. And I can tell you that I'm picturing now in my mind the years as they have progressed. If you had met me 3 to 4 years before that,
yeah,
I was at rock bottom.
Yeah.
As rock bottom as it gets, mentally, physically, financially, everything. Everything was not going my way. Dead end relationship, dead end as far as from career wise. I didn't see the light at all.
Yeah.
And that's why I took up yoga. Like I talk about it a lot, and people, ask me like,
it's great. It's really great for you.
I figured out all my shit in yoga.
Yeah.
I knew I had to get physically fit. I knew I needed to fix my mind. And I thought, go to yoga every day.
Right.
Eventually it'll come to you. It'll just hit you.
Well, because the good thing with yoga, the point of it is just disconnect and then let your body take over, right? So you're thinking about the movements you're doing and you're fully investing in yourself in that way, right? But yeah, no, I wouldn't have. But I think
are you a yogi as well?
I like yoga. I don't practice as much. There was one time, I guess, when I was coming out of my sunken place, that's kind of what helped me get into, it's just doing something for yourself and your mind and your body at the same time, right? You can never go wrong going to a yoga class.
I'm really happy to tell you that before we came to the taping today, we're taping this in the afternoon now, and in the morning, I went to my studio, my home studio.
Yeah.
They reopened a while ago, and I said, I still have a membership here? They're like, yep, you have a lifetime membership. Oh. I signed up. I'm going to be there at 6:30 in the morning. Yeah. For the first time I've gone to a yoga studio in like 2.5 years.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
It was tough. Like, I was doing it at home, but it's different when you're sweating with the people and you're connecting with the earth and your environment. Your phone is away. There's no distractions. It's another planet. So I'm really excited to actually be letting go of it and coming back to my home base, because yoga is the be all end all as far as finding the life journey.
That,
for me,
and I think Tai Chi. I think those are the two best, exercises for your mind and body. I mean, people will argue, I like lifting and I like doing all that stuff, and that works for you. It does, but I think the purpose of it is solely that, and I love it.
When I was at I would say my peak as far as the blend of the lifestyle was when I was doing boxing and yoga. It was the yin yang. So you get the aggression out in boxing, get get your curls in yoga, and as far as stretching it out and feeling limber, it's amazing. And now I'm more in the CrossFit realm, but I can tell my body's craving yoga. Like, I'm getting injured all the time as far as I'm not loose body, and I'm getting older, you know.
If your body's asking for it, you have to give it, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't know if like after lockdowns and all that stuff, I was like, I used to go to the gym, lift, and I was pretty self-disciplined when it came to that. I tried even using my condo gym, and John, I couldn't do anything. I'd sit there, do one set, sit on my phone, scroll through Instagram. Before I know it, 30 minutes is gone, and I've done nothing. I just didn't have that motivation and drive to do anything for myself. So funny story, actually, I went to kickboxing. And the guy looked at me. He goes, "Oh, I can tell you're trained in Taekwondo. I'm actually a black belt in Taekwondo, believe it or not."
Really? Mm-hmm. That's new.
Mm-hmm. And it really awoke in this like love I had for it. I actually went and registered. I haven't gone back, but I actually went to register at a Taekwondo gym again. Just the only thing with it, I find a little weird. They're like, "Oh, it's a class for 12 and up." Like, I don't really. And I remember when I was doing it. I don't want to fight kids.
Yes, might be fun though.
Like sometimes, but probably not the kids I want. Actually.